Hey y'all, it's Juju. Welcome to my kitchen. Come on in. Today we're gonna make some homemade cranberry sauce. Y'all know we have the holidays coming up, and I always put the canned cranberry sauce on the table, which I will do this year for those who prefer that. But I've decided this year that I'm going to do some homemade cranberry sauce as well, okay? So let's get started on that. I'm going to do 1 cup. I've got filtered water, okay? I'm going to do 1 cup of water, and go ahead and put the fire up under it. And then to this, I am going to add 3/4 of a cup. Now listen, you use granulated sugar, you use whatever sugar you like. I am choosing to use honey, okay? I just prefer that, and so I'm going to use honey. Like I said, you use 1 cup of whatever you want to use. This is local honey that I buy here locally. And I'm going to bring this to a boil. And also, you know, with honey, you don't have to worry about it being processed in any kind of way. This is local. So, and it is sticky gooey. It's so good though, so good. And I just buy it local here, local honey, at my local veggie patch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the water and the honey to a boil. And as soon as that boils, I'll come back, and I've got 12 ounces of cranberries that I have washed and cleaned. I've got a 12-ounce bag of fresh cranberries, okay? So I'll bring y'all back as soon as this starts boiling and we're ready to put our cranberries in, okay? Okay, our water and our honey have come to a boil, so we're going to put our cranberries in, and they will begin to pop. You will hear them begin to pop, but we're going to bring them to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, then we will turn it down on simmer, cover it, and let it simmer for about 15 minutes, stirring occasionally. When this comes to a boil, you'll start to hear the cranberries pop. Cranberries will burst open and release that fragrance into the water and into the syrup. Just waiting on it to come to a boil, back up to a boil. Are you guys ready for Thanksgiving? Have you done all of your shopping? Preparing ahead of time, or have you even started yet? I'm preparing. I'm getting there. I've still got plenty to do, but I am trying to prepare a little bit ahead of time. Just waiting on it to come to a good boil. Y'all know I've got my dressing done already. I made that up with y'all. And I'm going to do another video with y'all of me making my... Let me just let this come to a boil and then I'll be right back, okay? Okay, I'm back and it simmered for 15 minutes. And I have this little handy dandy potato masher and I've been using it. You know, some of the, I told you could hear them popping open. And I just like mine like a little bit smoother, but it's still going to have some chunks of cranberry you can see. Let me just bring it closer. But I'm using this little thing to kind of mash it up and make it more like a jelly / jam, if you will, that consistency. But what I'm going to do now is, that little thing come in handy. I'm going to be adding about a tablespoon of orange zest. And then I'm going to add, this is just me putting a little extra flair on it. I'm going to add a little bit, maybe half of a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then I'm going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Smells good. Smells really good. Make sure I get all that orange zest. That's flavor. Okay. Gonna give that, and then I'm going to be putting this in a container, putting it in the refrigerator, and once it cools down, I'm gonna pop it in the refrigerator, and it'll thicken up and become like a cranberry consistency, a sauce. It'll thicken up as it sits and as it cools down. And then once that happens, I've got me a glass dish here. I'm gonna put it on, and then I'll come back once it's set up and I'll show it to you. Okay? All right, we'll be back. But before I do that, I will show it to you. Look at that. And it smells really, really good. Okay, I'll be back. All right, guys, it's been about 30 to 45 minutes. The cranberry sauce has had time to congeal and set up. And y'all, it's beautiful. I think it's gonna be delicious. And I'm going to serve me up just a little bit so that I can taste it with you. Look how nice that is. Let me just, real quick, we did a cup of water. I used filtered water. I did 3/4 of a cup of honey. I buy local honey. I did a tablespoon of orange zest, about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and about 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. And y'all know I let the water and the honey come to a boil. I put my cranberries in, and y'all heard them as they began to pop open and release the juices. And once that come to a good boil, I just turned it down, put a lid on it, let it simmer for about 15 minutes. And then I took my little masher and I kind of mashed up some of the cranberries. I just wanted a little bit smoother of a texture. You can leave them, you know, more whole if that's what you want to do. But anyhow, let's give it a try because it smells really, really good. And as you can see, it has set up very nicely. Oh my. Somebody's here. You make it homemade, you won't want to buy the can anymore. They might be right. Now, I don't know, I'll give it some thought, but I would like to maybe mash them up just a little bit finer, or even strain them if you don't want any of the hull or anything like that from the cranberries. You know, strain it really, really good. But they're not bad. It's not like you get this big mouthful of hulls. It's just, you're used to, especially if you're used to the canning, you're used to it being smooth, but flavor-wise, and that little bit of orange zest just set up so nicely. And I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator. And from all the research that I've done, the longer it sits up, this will keep in your refrigerator for up to a month. The research I've done, the longer it sits over several days or even a week, the better it gets. So, guys, we have our homemade cranberry sauce ready for the holidays to go on our table. Now, this is just a dish that I've put it in. I'll put it in a pretty dish. I just had this one because it had a lid on it. But I'll put it in a pretty serving dish that day. Anyhow, I'm going to go. Let me grab my water. That little bit of cinnamon. You can taste a little hint of the cinnamon and that orange zest. That really just gives it a really fresh taste. I love it. Anyhow, I'm going to go. I hope that you'll make you a homemade cranberry sauce. It's so simple, guys. You know, you think about it and you're like, oh, I'm not going to take the time to do that. I mean, it might take a little bit longer than opening up a can and flopping it out on the plate and slicing it up. Of course, it's going to take a little bit longer than that, but flavor-wise, it'll be worth it. So I'm going to go. And before I do, let me thank you so much for being a part of my page and being a part of my cooking journey. I appreciate your support here. I appreciate you coming back faithfully and engaging with me and commenting and just spending a little time with me. I'm grateful, and I don't want to take that for granted. And I hope that I can encourage you to be the hands and feet of Jesus and his mouthpiece, and find somebody during the holiday season to be a blessing to, okay? And this is Gigi. I'm going to close out my video, but I'll see you again back here in my kitchen really soon for another great recipe. Not sure yet, but we're either going to do a sweet potato souffle or a broccoli casserole next. I love you guys. I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye.